video today because today I want to make you $1 million offer. And before I tell you what that is, I want to use some context and tell you a story. So, as you know, you've been hearing me talk about this thing that I'm building in Boise. This Russell guy keeps buying all these old books and he's freaking out about it. Now I'm building a library. It's building a library. He is, I'm building a 20,000 square foot library / museum for all my books. In the last 24 months, I've bought probably 8,000 or 9,000 books now. Spent over 8 figures on old first issue books. You're probably thinking like, either Russell's crazy or he has a vision for something really cool. And so I want to tell you the vision. As I was going through all of the Napoleon Hill stuff, right? In fact, these are some first edition manuscripts that were sent by the Napoleon Hill Foundation. They've sent me manuscripts for books that haven't been published yet. As amazing as Outwitting the Devil is, Napoleon Hill wrote another book called Outwitting the Beast that nobody's seen. I have manuscripts in my head. And I've been going through all these things. It's fascinating. One of the things that Napoleon Hill tried to do, from the very beginning, he had a vision. He wanted to create a school for success. He knew that he was going to go and interview all of the most successful people on the planet, and he was going to write his philosophy. He spent 20 years doing that, and then he wrote The Law of Success. And The Law of Success was a hit. As the money started coming in, his first thing was, I'm going to go establish a school for success. And he bought this huge land and a house on it, and he was going to be building out a school, and his whole vision for what he was going to create. It was amazing. It was the very first place, like a college that you could go to where you're not going to learn the stupid things that don't actually matter. You learn true success principles to create the next generation of wealthy people in the world. He was so excited for it, and then shortly after he bought the estate and everything and the vision he was going to create.
The tremendous crowds which you see gathered outside the stock exchange are due to the greatest crash in the history of the New York Stock Exchange and market prices.
That's when there was the Depression, and he ended up losing the home, losing the land, losing everything, and the vision was put on hold. He literally worked with the presidents of the United States trying to solve the Depression. In fact, he was one that gave Franklin D. Roosevelt the quote,
that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
which changed people out of the Depression and started bringing back prosperity. And then shortly afterwards, when he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, which was written at the end of the Depression to help give people faith and hope, he wrote this book and it took off and it blew up. And then he decided, I'm going to go build a school of success. And he started working towards that again. And then the next trial in his life hit and he lost it all and he wasn't able to. And fast forward to the rest of his life, he kept trying to go back to that goal, kept trying to go back to it. And eventually, he retired. And a little while later, he met W. Clement Stone, who was someone who had read the book Think and Grow Rich and built one of the largest insurance companies on the planet based on the principles.
This is W. Clement Stone saying, I feel healthy, I feel happy, I feel terrific.
W. Clement Stone and Napoleon Hill partnered together, got Napoleon Hill out of retirement, and then they started a company together, teaching these philosophies again. And sure enough, right away, Napoleon was like, how to build such a school? How do we, maybe it's a franchise, maybe it's schools all over the world. He kept trying to pursue this vision, but it never happened. And a couple years ago when I started with this idea, I started buying these old books and we bought the land to build the museum, the event center on, and all these things started happening. At first the vision wasn't super clear, but I did know something related to that. The problem though with any type of school, it's like a physical school, is people have to come to the place, they have to come to Boise to go to physical school, they have to go to Ohio, or wherever the school's at, right? To go and attend it, which limits you by geography and region. There's so many things that if you really want to change the world, you can't create a school that's just in one spot. You have to create a school that's everywhere. And so, can you imagine, it's the year 3000, and somebody decides they want to enroll in Success School. And so they enroll, and what happens, they get a box in the mail, they open it up, and there's these amazing VR goggles. He puts on these VR goggles, and as he puts them on, instantly he's transformed into an actual location in Boise, Idaho, where there's this huge event center, and there's a museum, and he walks in the front door, and he walks around and sees all of the first edition books, all the greatest minds of our time. And they can walk over and literally grab the book and start flipping through it and reading these books digitally. And they walk to the event center and they see this amazing event center, they see the stage, they sit down in one of the seats and they pull out the equivalent of a TV guide and they're like, oh my gosh, did you realize that Tony Robbins spoke here before he passed away? I want to watch that presentation. And they click a button and in real time it pops up and you see Tony Robbins in 3D in that event center giving a 3D event on his philosophy of life. And a chance to sit there and watch this thing. And then they sit and look at the person left and right of them and who's watching the same thing, have conversations and dialogues, go in the other room and have mastermind meetings and do this all virtually and take your glasses off. And that was one day in school. we're lucky that all of us here have benefited from the works of amazing people who came before us, right? We're able to, like Tony Robbins say, take a decade of someone's life, a year of their life trying to figure out health or relationships or how to grow a business or whatever it is, right? They spend all this time trying to learn something, and then they write a book and they leave it behind. And a book is their legacy, it's their gift to us from everything they learned during their entire life. And that's what we are creating, is we're creating something where all the greatest thought leaders of our time will have a chance to leave the legacy behind for the future. And so that's what I'm creating. I know it's kind of crazy. The investment so far on my side has been insane. Just acquiring the books and the original manuscripts and all these things. A lot of my mission obviously is helping you as entrepreneurs. And most of you guys are the people who someday should be presenting in this library, sharing your philosophies on life, on health, on relationships, on whatever it is that you are the best in the world at. And that's what this event center is created for us, for our people, for the 1% crazy who are crazy to think they can change the world. Because as you know and I know, we're the only ones that actually can. And so that's kind of the vision of what's happening. Now, I want to take you guys inside the library to kind of show you what it looks like. And I keep calling it a library, it's closer to a museum, an event center, but I want to transform you guys and show you inside so you can see what we're building. You look at now, after 3 years of dreaming and visualizing, working with architects to build out all the plans, the event center, it's a 20,000 square foot building. Half of the building is a library / museum holding the most rare first edition books and manuscripts from all the greatest thought leaders of all time. And the other side is an actual event room where we can stand on stage, we can present, we can teach, we can train, we capture all the ideas that are worth capturing and hearing about. It's really a spot for people to come to have a chance to get away from the world and to think and to share and to talk and to be around people who are like them, think like them, act like them, so that our visions can grow even bigger. So I want to walk you through some of the cool things that you'll find when you walk through the doors the very first time. One of my favorite things is this statue set that I had commissioned.
So these are like a resin right now, but I painted them to look like, what they might look like in a patina. I just can't wait to have those at full scale. I'm looking up at it, it's gonna be, because you're gonna be like this tall. He's 8 feet tall. That's gonna be awesome.
When I was first thinking about some brainstorming, I read the book Atlas Shrugged, and it talks all about the producers, the prime movers, the entrepreneurs of the world. They're the ones who are literally carrying the entire weight of the world on their shoulders. And it talks about what happens when society gets to the point where the government and outside things put so much pressure that it's no longer worth it for Atlas to continue to hold the world up, right? Well, he stands up and he shrugs and walks away. That's kind of what this is. This is Atlas shrugging and walking away from the world. And you look like this is the progression of what can happen to entrepreneurs, prime movers. My goal in everything I do in my business, this is from my books to the courses, the events, everything we do is all about supporting the prime movers, supporting those who are holding the weight of the world on their shoulders, because I don't want you to shrug and walk away. Your responsibility is great. The way you're changing your people's lives, I can't imagine what this world would be like without you. And so that's what this all symbolizes. We will have 9-foot versions of Atlas holding a 6-foot globe. It's a constant reminder of who this is for. It's for the prime movers, the driven, the people like you. After you pass the Atlas statues, then you'll have a chance to look in and see all the books. My goal with this was to try to find the history of these books, right? Again, manuscripts. This is the first edition manuscript, an unpublished work by Napoleon Hill called The Secrets of Master Selfmanship. This is literally something he typed on his typewriter. It's all of the stuff. In fact, this is the first edition of his typewriter. Think and Grow Rich, Outlawing the Devil, his books written on this actual typewriter. Those things are all in there. Dan Kennedy literally assigned in his will that when he or his fax machine dies, we'll have Dan Kennedy's actual fax machine in there. We're finding all the artifacts for business, for success, or personal development that mean a lot to us as the prime movers. All the first editions, the pre-first edition of Law of Success, 3 years before the actual Law of Success was published. And there's only 2 known copies in the world, only 1 that's signed, and we have it. It'll be in the library. So much of what is published nowadays in seminars and events and books is a regurgitation from this person, this person, all the way down to someone's quoting something from stage or out on an Instagram post and acting like they made it up. This is coming back to the beginning. The people that actually discovered this, and how did they find that? What are they thinking? And that's what this is all about. Instead of playing phone booth and learning from the influencers 30 levels deep, it's learning from the foundation, from the source of where these ideas first came from. Imagine coming here and spending a week in the library and reading from these manuscripts. It's insane. It's magical. Just even being in this room for me, it's like spiritual. It feels there's a weird energy when you're here because you're just wow, these are this is life works of some of the greatest minds of our time who transformed the world and opened up the ability for us to do all the things we do today. We knew that as we were building this, it couldn't just be a normal room. and we do some really cool things. So in the center of the museum, when you walk in, there's a button you can push, and the floor actually will open up and reveal a spiral stairway that you can walk down. As you walk down, some of the most rare books will be down there, protected by from humidity and from the heat of everything down there. As you walk the bottom of the spiral staircase, there'll be one chair, and there will be one person allowed time there to go and have complete solitude. You know, Superman would go and he'd have his fortress of solitude. He could study, he could learn, he could be by himself. And this is that for the prime movers. When you have a chance to come, you could have a chance to be in there with your thoughts with the greatest works of our time. And so that's what's happening right in the middle of the museum. Come on now, so cool. And the third thing is, obviously, everything happening in the museum is what was left behind by the greatest minds who came before us. And the event center now is about capturing the minds of it today. The reasons why I want this museum to have these amazing things is I want it to be able to attract the greatest minds of our time. You know, Tony Robbins or Jordan Peterson or Michael Jordan or Oprah or something say, hey, how would you come see the archives of the greatest success works ever created? And get them to come in to see these things, and after they're there, put them on stage and have a chance to capture their philosophy on life and success and personal development and things that change their lives as well. And when we capture them, I don't want to just capture this in like a video, like how many videos are on YouTube, like I want to make something special. The technology will be equipped in this room with it, we'll be able to capture everything in 3D. So that way in 2,000 years from now, when somebody in Africa or Australia decides to sign up for our School of Success and they put on the VR goggles, they'll see and experience Tony Robbins the way that we all had a chance to experience live, in person, 3D, real. We don't want this just to be another video on YouTube, we want this to be an experience. Because you know, like going to an event and having that experience can change your life. You can get value from other ways, but man, there's nothing like experiencing that live. So the entire event center is going to be a spot to capture people in as real of life as possible, so we can extend them, their life, and their legacy for forever. All right, that brings us down to step number 3. As you know, there's a hook, there's a story, and now I gotta make you an offer. I do this knowing full well that for most of you guys, this offer is not something that's gonna be a good fit for you. But I do know for some of you guys, this is the thing you're looking for. It's the reason why I've gone on the pursuit of this. Like, the question I keep asking myself is, how do I live forever? How do I extend my legacy? I spend so much time and energy. I don't want when I end that the work ends as well. I know that most of you guys who are here, the reason why you keep doing this is because you love what you do. This is a mission impact thing for you. And I've seen so many authors who have such a great legacy, and as soon as they passed away, it ended. There's very few authors who have outlived their lifespan. And somebody asked me in one of my apps, he said, why are you doing this, Russell? What is your purpose? And I said, the reason why, because I realized if I can extend the life of these authors, then the vehicle I have to create to do that will extend my life as well. For some of you guys who see the vision that I do, you want to extend your life and your legacy for forever, I want to give you an opportunity. It's a rare opportunity. It's only going to be here once, and then it will be gone for forever. But it's an opportunity for you to become a founding member in the vision of what we're creating, and by doing so, extend your legacy into the future forever as well. So what does that look like? Well, as I was thinking through this and researching it, Kevin Richards on my team told me a story about when the Rams were building their football stadium, they needed to raise $1 billion. Now, how are we going to raise $1 billion to do this?
The Rams and the Chargers are ready to start selling their premium seats at their new stadium in England.
The majority of its seats, if not all, will require a personal seat license or PSL.
Kevin was one of thousands and thousands of people who went and they pre-bought a seat inside the stadium. And the way it works is anytime there's any event happening in the stadium, he owns those seats. So he has first right of refusal. So he still has to buy a ticket to the event. He doesn't get the seats for free, but he has the first right to buy the ticket to sit in his seats. If Britney Spears is coming to town, he gets a message a week earlier saying, hey, Britney Spears is coming, do you want to reserve your seats? If he says yes, he gets first right of refusal on those seats. If he says no, then the seats go to the open market and they sell them to somebody else. But he has first right of refusal to those seats for as long as he holds that seat license. He spent $50,000 for those 2 seats, and they did that with the entire stadium and raised over $1 billion to build the stadium. As I looked at that model, I realized that that's something similar to what I want to do here. Inside the event center, there are a little over 100 seats. And obviously there's front row, which will be better than the second row, which will be better than the third row. But I want to offer you guys the ability to buy a seat license where you would own the rights to that seat. You still have to buy tickets to the events that are happening, but you would have first right of refusal every single time. So for example, if we have a Tony Robbins event, Tony's coming for 3 days to teach his philosophy on success, you would have the first right of refusal to buy that seat. You buy the seat, you show up, and that is your seat. And if you don't want to take that seat, you can sell it to somebody else. Or if you just leave it alone, then we can sell it on the open market. But that would be your seat. You get a first right of refusal for any event. Now, Again, my goal is to bring the greatest minds of all time. So that means bringing Tony, bringing Oprah, bringing Jordan Peterson, bringing Michael Jordan, bringing like all the greatest minds in personal development, success in every genre. Like I want to bring those people and have them present, which means you'd have first right refusal for any of those events. You would have that for every single thing that's happening here inside of the actual event center. So I wanted to make sure that this offer for you, despite the fact that you're getting your own seat with your name on it, so anyone who comes will see like, this is that person's seat, like, they'll know it's yours. I thought that, I was like, how do I make this so this offer is completely irresistible? So it's not just costing you money, but it's free, or it's better than free. And so inside of this, I wanted to build something that I think for some of you guys, this alone will make you as much or more money than your actual businesses today. Every single license that somebody has inside of this, it's gonna come a virtual seat license. What does that mean? Is that depending on which row your seat is, you may have 10, 20, or 30 virtual licenses to any of the events that are happening. So that means that you can tell your entire community, like, hey, I'm going to go hear Michael Jordan for 3 days, teach his philosophy on success and why. I've got 30 tickets where you can watch it streaming with me. And then we're gonna do a mastermind afterwards with people, whatever it is, right? And you can sell those tickets. You can sell those tickets for 10, 20, 30 grand a piece. It's significant, especially when you figure out it's for one event. And if we're doing an event every week or every other week or however often we're doing those, every single time you can sell access to those, that benefit alone, I want you guys to understand, like, if we do 20 events over the year, you sell tickets to all 20 of those events to your people, or just it gets your highest level mastermind members to stick longer because of these amazing things you're giving them, you should be able to recoup your entire investment year number one, and then after that, every event we do afterwards is just pure profit in your pocket, without any of the costs or the stress or anything. That's one way this is better than free for you. The second way, and this is depending on where you are, which row your seat is, this isn't available for all the seats, but for those of you guys who are in the front row, you will also have a chance to do your 3-day event here at the actual event center. Now that means a couple of things. Number one, to your event means you will have the ability to sell access to your people to your event. Okay, so my guess is for most of you guys, you make at least $1 million just having people coming to experience you teaching yourself live. Okay, so that alone will again completely cover the investment of the seat. But number two, and this is what I think is even more important, is that we'll be filming in our event center with all the 3D cameras and everything. And what will happen at the end is when it's done is you will be part of the event center. Your teachings, your philosophy, everything you share on stage will be there. And that means, again, in 3,000 years from now, when a kid from Argentina pulls out a TV guide and he's like, look at Tony Robbins and sees your name, he clicks a button and boom, you're there teaching him live, even though you've been past for so long. My goal with this is to make it better than free, but more so is to extend you and your legacy for forever. Those are some of the benefits. There's more, and I'll talk about that probably in a presentation or some slides or somewhere. I'm creating it for these authors who have passed on. I'm creating it for me, who will extend my legacy. I'm creating it for you because I believe in what you guys are doing. I believe in your message, I believe in your mission. The reason why I kill myself every single day still is because I know that you have the ability to change people's lives if you get your message out to the world. That's why I build ClickFunnels, try to write books, that's why we do all these things. But what about in 100 years from now, 500 years from now? Like, I don't want that legacy to end when you end, right? And putting the time, the effort, like, there are people who are coming in the future who need what you have to say. And if we don't figure out ways to extend your legacy, then it can be gone forever. And so I want to invite you to become one of our founding members. There's no hard pitch. If you're interested in something like this, let me know. There's only 100 seats in the entire event center as a whole, and we're only selling licenses to the first 2 or 3 rows. And so if you think this is something that would make sense for you, the $1 million investment doesn't scare you to death, you realize you know exactly how you can sell access to the seats. You know that your 2 or 3 day event will completely make the money back. If you know this is something that's gonna be easier than free for you, then come let me know. Text me, box me, run up to me. The seats are going to be very, very limited. When we get back from Mastermind in Paradise, I'll be making this presentation to my other friends. People who are here in the room today, people like Tony Robbins, like Dean, like a lot of the other great thought leaders of our time. I'll be making personal presentations to them as well. So if you want the ability to have your name next to theirs and to mine and to these other authors in the library as one of our founding members, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Hopefully you've enjoyed everything you've learned so far. And if nothing else, hopefully you get a chance to see how to pitch and prepare a $1 million offer and hopefully help you in your offers in the future. Thanks so much, you guys, and cannot wait to help you extend your legacy forever.